15 hidden anti-bee tricks beekeepers don't want you to know. Did you know bees aren't just sweet little pollinators? They can turn vicious, steal your honey, and wipe out an entire hive if you're not ready. Only 8 out of nearly 21,000 bee species die after stinging, meaning 99.96% can attack again and again without dying. Ignore these hidden truths, and you could lose hundreds in honey, or your whole colony. With these 15 anti-bee tricks, you'll outsmart aggressive swarms and keep your hive thriving like a pro. Here's the first hidden secret. Water. Sounds simple, right? But covering a hive with a wet towel can actually confuse robbing bees for up to 24 hours. Resident bees still get in and out, but the intruders, they're lost wandering, unable to find the honey they came for. Bee scent recognition is incredibly precise, and masking it throws the robbers completely off. Most beekeepers won't tell you this because during heavy honey flows, it's a lifesaver. A single trick like this can prevent massive hive theft. Then there's the robbing screen. A small screen at the entrance might not look like much, but it can reduce hive robbery by 80%. Here's why it works. Resident bees are redirected, while the intruders hit a dead end. They can't figure out the scent puzzle, and they eventually give up. It's a simple mechanical trick that feels like cheating, but it's completely legal and saves your hive from destruction. Natural repellents are another set of hidden weapons. Did you know garlic can actually repel bees? Crushed garlic mixed with water creates a spray that keeps bees away for up to 6 hours, stronger than citronella. Vinegar works too. Its acetic acid temporarily disrupts bee behaviour without harming them. And cayenne pepper, sprinkle it near ground nesting bees, and they'll avoid that area for 48 hours. Combine these natural repellents, and you've essentially built a chemical-free barrier that keeps your property safe while leaving the colony unharmed. And it's not just about tactics, it's about controlling the environment. Removing sugary foods, sealing cracks, and stopping bees from finding new nesting spots can reduce unwanted colonies by up to 70%. Integrated pest management, or IPM, combines mechanical barriers, natural repellents, and selective treatments. Studies show this can reduce hive losses by 30%. It's a hidden framework that most casual beekeepers don't know exists, and yet it's one of the most effective ways to protect a colony. Now let's talk about survival on a microscopic level. Varroa mites are the single biggest threat to honeybee colonies, not the bees themselves. Multi-treatment strategies using oxalic acid or thymol raise colony survival to about 67%. But here's the shocking part. If you induce a brood break while using oxalic acid, the treatment becomes 5 times more effective. Experts around the world, from 30 different countries, confirm that combining chemical and organic approaches is the secret to controlling these parasites while keeping bees alive and healthy. Observation and inspection might seem mundane, but they are actually high-stakes secrets. Frequent inspections reduce pest-related colony losses by 40%. That's not a small number. It's the difference between losing a thriving hive and maintaining a productive one. And it's not just guesswork. Data from thousands of beekeepers shows that minor adjustments, changing placement, timing inspections, or using a specific repellent can make a dramatic difference in survival. Combine this with organic hive management, and colony survival rates can increase by 180%, while honey production can more than double. The best part, many of these strategies are subtle and completely non-lethal. Using a wet towel, a robbing screen, a few plants or strategic repellents, these small interventions are enough to manipulate bee behaviour and protect hives without harming the insects. In fact, these hidden tricks are often more effective than chemical-heavy treatments, which can stress or even kill colonies over time. Bees are basically little detectives too. They use smell and sight like a GPS, and if you're not careful, they'll sniff out your property faster than a bloodhound on a mission. But here's the crazy part. Beekeepers have learned to trick them. And it's not rocket science, it's about scents, colours, and a few clever tricks that mess with their senses. Take peppermint, citrus, and tea tree oils. These aren't just for smelling nice or keeping your bathroom fresh. They literally confuse bees. Spray a little around your property, and suddenly the hive intruders are lost, bumping into each other, wondering what just happened. It's like giving them a tiny, bee-sized headache. Bees rely heavily on smell to navigate and communicate. Masking or overloading those scents scrambles their mental map, and you get a few hours, sometimes longer, of peace. And it's completely harmless. They're not dying, just annoyed. But it's not just about smell. Visual cues matter too. Bright floral patterns and bold colours are like neon signs saying, "Free honey here." Studies show bees are attracted up to 60% more to these patterns. That's why pros stick to dull, non-floral colours when working near hives. You won't see them in sunny flower shirts unless they're trying to get stung on purpose. It's a subtle psychological nudge. Out of sight, out of mind. Your clothing and decorations become invisible signals to bees that there's nothing worth chasing. And for a little extra layer of protection, passive repellents come into play. Citronella candles aren't just mosquito traps. They irritate bees enough to keep them wandering somewhere else. Planting natural repellents around your property, think marigold, mint, thyme, eucalyptus, creates invisible boundaries. You've essentially built a bee moat. Bees don't like it, but it's totally safe for humans, pets, and the hive itself. Layer smell and visual tricks together, and suddenly your yard is a no-fly zone for unwanted visitors. Now here's where things get wild: bee psychology. You might not realise it, but bees talk to each other chemically. Crush one, and it releases alarm pheromones. That tiny squish can trigger up to 70% more stings. One bee goes down, and suddenly the entire colony is in riot mode. That's why amateurs panic. They see a bee, they flail, they squash, and then they're swarmed. But pros, they have a strategy. It's called tactical withdrawal. When the hive gets aggressive, they don't fight. They step back, close the hive, and come back later. Just by retreating, they can reduce stings by 50%. It's the ultimate lesson in subtle control. Don't battle the bees, manipulate their behaviour. Fear leads to chaos, strategy leads to survival. You can almost imagine the bees thinking, "Oh, they surrendered. Fine, we'll go back to guarding the honey." The contrast is staggering. Amateurs running around panicking, getting stung, versus experts calmly redirecting the colony without raising a single bee eyebrow. And it's not just about behaviour, it's also about creating a fortress. Bees are persistent little engineers, and if they find a crack, a crevice, or a weak spot, they'll exploit it. Sealing entry points is like fortifying a castle. Patch every crack, inspect the edges, and don't give them an inch. Long-term structural manipulation beats chemicals every time. Spraying toxins might get rid of a few bees temporarily, but it doesn't stop the next wave from finding the same weaknesses. Professionals know that the hive's environment is as important as the hive itself. And if you really want to take it to the next level, there's integrated pest management, or IPM. Think of it as a Swiss Army knife for beekeepers. Mechanical barriers, selective chemical treatments, and biological controls all working together. Studies show IPM reduces hive losses by around 30%. That's huge, almost a third fewer disasters in a season, just by combining a few clever strategies. The magic here is in the details. Smells, colours, behaviours, and the environment, they all interact. One layer alone won't save you, but stacked together, it's like a fortress, a maze, and a mental puzzle for the bees. They can't cheat it, and you get peace of mind while keeping your colony healthy. Professional beekeepers don't just fight bees, they anticipate, manipulate, and protect. They turn the bees' own senses against them in ways that seem almost unfair. You don't need to be a genius to do it. But knowing these tricks separates the casual hobbyist from someone who actually keeps a thriving, productive hive year after year. And the best part? None of it involves hurting the bees. It's subtle, brutal, and brilliant. So, next time you see a bee, remember, it's not just buzzing around, randomly. It's reading scents, analysing colours, and making decisions. And if you know the secrets, you're the one calling the shots. Now let's talk about the true villains of the beekeeping world. Varroa mites. These tiny, almost invisible parasites are the silent assassins hiding in plain sight. You might see a healthy hive buzzing and thriving and think everything is fine, but these mites are working behind the scenes, sucking the life out of the colony. One mite here, one mite there, and suddenly your prized hive could be on the brink of collapse. Forget bears or raccoons. Varroa mites are the real nightmare. Here's the thing most people don't realise. Dealing with Varroa mites isn't a one-shot deal. You can't just spray something and hope for the best. Professional beekeepers use multi-treatment strategies, and they're shockingly effective. Combining oxalic acid with thymol treatments isn't just science speak. It actually pushes colony survival rates up to around 67%. That's not a small bump. That's the difference between losing your hive and seeing it thrive for another season. And here's the secret that makes the difference between meh and incredible: inducing a brood break during oxalic acid treatment. Basically, pausing brood production while you treat the hive makes the acid work up to 5 times more effectively. That's right, one little timing trick can multiply your effectiveness, and most amateurs have no clue. It's not just local anecdotal advice either. Global studies back this up. A meta-analysis covering 30 countries shows the same pattern. Hives that use a combination of organic and chemical treatments consistently outperform those that rely on only one approach. It's proof that blending strategies isn't just clever, it's statistically the smart way to go. And the kicker? These methods don't just fight mites, they maintain the health of your bees. You get protection without sacrificing your colony's vitality. But fighting mites is only part of the story. Observation and inspection are the hidden weapons most amateurs overlook. Here's a fact that might shock you. Frequent hive inspections can cut pest-related losses by 40%. 40%! That's huge. But it's not about poking and prodding aimlessly, it's about knowing what to look for. Surveys of professional beekeepers show that the tiniest observation, like noticing a slightly unusual cluster pattern or a slow-moving bee, can signal trouble before it escalates. Small changes in attention translate into massive survival differences. And the magic gets even bigger when you combine this with organic hive management. Sustainable, chemical-free methods can boost colony survival by 180% and honey production by 100% in multi-year studies. That's right, doing things the right way doesn't just protect your bees, it rewards you with more honey. People think organic methods are just nice to have, but the data says otherwise. The right observation, combined with thoughtful management, is basically a survival superpower. Now let's talk about some of the out-of-the-box defenses that most beekeepers won't tell you. These aren't chemicals or harsh treatments. They're subtle, clever, and surprisingly effective. Start with plants. Herbs and flowers like marigold, mint, eucalyptus, pennyroyal, and lavender aren't just pretty. They create natural barriers. Plant them strategically around your property, and bees learn that this area isn't worth the effort. It's like a no-fly zone, gently enforced by nature. Combine these plant defenses with scent manipulation and structural hive control, and suddenly your hive is almost impenetrable. Bees are smart, but they're not geniuses. They'll bypass obstacles that are easy, but when every exit is covered, every smell is controlled, and every entry is blocked, they get the message. And humans aren't helpless either. Your own behaviour, avoiding floral patterns, removing sugary attractants, keeping calm, can be a tactical advantage. Bees respond to cues we barely notice, and professional beekeepers exploit this daily. Here's the shocking part. These subtle, smart tricks often outperform heavy-handed chemical approaches. You can spray your way through a problem, but a multi-layered strategy, smell, sight, structure, and behaviour, wins the long game. The bees stay healthy, the colony survives, and you don't poison the environment in the process. It's clever, it's humane, and it's backed by science. Subscribe, like, and comment why you like this video for a chance to win a new Apple MacBook.